After 3 days off, the Arizona Coyotes are back in action, facing off against the Vegas Golden Knights for the first time this season. I'm going to break that down on today's episode of Locked On Coyotes.
You're Locked On Coyotes, your daily podcast on the Arizona Coyotes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's episode of Locked On Coyotes. I'm your host, Carl Pavlock. I'm going to be talking about today's upcoming game against the Vegas Golden Knights. But first, I want to thank you for making Locked On Coyotes your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts, including on YouTube. Got a great show for you today. I'm going to be previewing the game. It's unfortunately just going to be me for today. My co-host Robin is feeling a little bit under the weather. She asked me to just take over, do it myself. Done it before, and I really wanted to talk about this game because I have a lot of feelings about this game. I just kind of want to talk it out because this feels like a trap game. In the sense that I honestly have no idea what's going to be happening. So kind of want to go over how both teams are heading into this one, because I think it's really important to see. This is a very similar kind of situation to the Coyotes game against the New Jersey Devils in a very interesting way. So when the Coyotes and the Devils faced off, both teams were on hot streaks. The Coyotes had won 3 games. The Devils had won significantly more games. But we are grading on a curve when it comes to the Coyotes because they're the Coyotes. So it was, a battle of the win streaks. It was really cool. The Devils won that game. It was unfortunate if you're a Coyotes fan, but you knew it had to end eventually. So you couldn't have been too surprised. Coyotes go next night facing off against the New York Rangers. Back-to-backs are always tough when it comes to hockey. So, yeah, it's rough. Thankfully, even though it's a road back-to-back, it's New Jersey and New York. I'm sure it's not comfortable. It's business travel, and you'd rather be home, but it's not the worst thing in the world if you're a member of either team. So that's great. It's fine. Coyotes play really well, but they, can't finish. Midway through the second period, or actually like 3/4 of the way through the second period, they take a poorly timed penalty. Everything starts to break down. New York scores 3 unanswered goals. Suddenly the game's completely out of reach. Coyotes seem to run out of gas and take penalties, and yeah, it was a rough third period. So Coyotes are thankfully coming into this game with a little bit of rest. 3 days off, definitely going to do them really good. So while the Coyotes were on their win streak, when they were facing off against the Devils who were on their win streak, the Golden Knights were also on a win streak. They had won 9 straight games. And then they came home and faced off against the St. Louis Blues. And the Blues are, hang on, I want to confirm this because always got to confirm. So the Blues are currently not the worst team in the Central Division. The Coyotes are back to being the worst team in the Central Division, but they are one of them. They currently have 14 points in 15 games. Coyotes, for comparison's sake, have 13 in 15 games. Chicago Blackhawks, 15 and 16. If you're keeping track of the I forget what the tank for Bedard thing is. But yeah, so lose to the Blues, not great. Not a great start, especially since it really, broke the Golden Knights win streak. Next game, though, San Jose Sharks And Coyotes are no longer in the Pacific Division. If you're not keeping track, Sharks are pretty bad. They're not the worst team in the Pacific. That would be the Anaheim Ducks. Again, if you're one of those people looking at the standings, 11 points in 16 games. So that's rough. Sharks, 15 and 18. Sorry. So Vegas comes into tonight's game having lost to two of the worst teams in the Western Conference. And this is the last game of their 3-game homestand. So they could theoretically have the worst homestand maybe in NHL history. Because everyone always talks about how the Coyotes are historically bad. The Blues are right up there. And let's be real, the Sharks are probably going to be there too in that 10 card for Bedard conversation. Uh, Robin's not here to defend the Sharks, so I am able to just talk all the trash I want. But yeah, those are 3 teams that aren't good. So I don't know. This is a trap game because this could be like a losing streak breaker for the Coyotes, just kind of coming in against the perfect opponent, or the Vegas Golden Knights could be like in the locker room before the game. Phil Kessel stands up and delivers a speech about how you can't give up and how you need to finish strong against Phil's old team, and they come out swinging. Like I've talked about a lot throughout this season, the Coyotes are not the best team, so it really is a situation of can they or is their opponent going to play up or play down to them? Because if their opponent's playing down, the Coyotes can surprise you. And that's one of the things I love about watching them this season. Just kind of is an interesting team to watch because they can really just kind of handle teams that are better than them for long stretches because those teams don't take them seriously. And it gives me hope for the future. But gotta take a quick break right now. I do want to say that this episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline.net is your number one source for sports betting information. Um, you get stats, news, and analysis. It's where you can get the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there, from football to basketball to soccer and esports and hockey. They've got it all at BetOnline. And if you love sports podcasts, you can find those at BetOnline as well. We're always the fastest and easiest way to get your betting information. You can head over to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more. Bet online, where the game starts. Welcome back. This is your host, Carl Pavlak. Again, just going to be me for today, talking about this Vegas Golden Knights game and why I am extremely worried, but also hopeful. Like I was saying, the Coyotes are definitely a team that can surprise you. And I am hesitant to think that they are going to sneak up against a former division rival, especially one like the Vegas Golden Knights, because, they were in the same division for a long time. The Golden Knights know what the Coyotes can be. They have Phil Kessel. They have Aiden Hill, 2 former Coyotes. So, like, they know what to do. And you gotta figure they don't want to lose all 3 of these home games. I'm sorry. Like, I always, think that is just a great like confidence boost, a reason to have momentum, just not to embarrass yourself for the 3rd straight game against 3 of the worst teams in the Western Conference. Like, that situation doesn't come up a lot. You're not normally going to come up against the 3 worst teams in your freaking league in a row at home for your homestand. You want to give the home fans something to cheer for. No matter like how much you believe in like home momentum, I believe Robin and I have talked about it. I don't necessarily believe in it too much, except in the fact that I think that athletes will, you know, psych themselves up more. They will prepare themselves more. I don't think that you can do it necessarily in the moment. I often feel like it happens like before the game even begins. Like that's when it starts. But you could also get, moments where you come in. But either way, like if you're the Golden Knights, you don't want to be embarrassed, especially since you are the top of your division. Uh, we have seen teams like well, not necessarily teams as much this season, but more the media. Every time you lose to the Coyotes, it kind of causes an existential crisis. I think that's kind of what happened with the Toronto Maple Leafs. So, yeah, I think that's going to fuel the Golden Knights to kind of have a strong showing against the team that they used to see a lot of. Um, like I said, this is Phil Kessel's team. Kessel spent a lot of time with the Coyotes. Uh, I didn't necessarily enjoy seeing him side with the Golden Knights. I'm not the biggest fan of them, but still, it's great to see he's got his footing. He's got the record. He currently comes into tonight's game 3 goals, 4 assists in 17 games, which is solid for Kessel. The other former Coyote I mentioned earlier that I just want to bring up, Aiden Hill. Aiden Hill, longtime player with the Tucson Roadrunners, spent a couple of games with the Coyotes. Robin and I are always talking about the starts that Tocchet gave him. Prosvetov was there, but yeah, he has found his spot with the Golden Knights this season. He's currently played 6 games, 5-1-0, 2.32 goals against average, 920 save percentage. He's not their starter. Their starter is Logan Thompson. Who was backup last season, but with Leonard out for the year, he's stepping up. And so far, he's been good. In 11 games, 8 wins, 3 losses, 2.38 goals against average, 922 save percentage. So the Golden Knights are definitely not a team that you want to take seriously. Um, they ran into, the Coyotes ran into some pretty good goaltending against the New York Rangers. There's a chance we're going to get some of that in tonight, which is not fun. I didn't love seeing them just put up shot after shot, through period and a half against the Rangers just to not be able to score anything. But the Golden Knights also a team that has a lot of offensive weapons. Jack Eichel, 10 goals, 10 assists, 20 points in 17 games. That's going to be fun. I am very glad that the Coyotes are not in the same division as Jack Eichel. I'm just going to be real. I thought he there it's great to see Jack Eichel succeed after he got the surgery that he wanted. It's not great that the Coyotes have to face him, but on the whole, I like the fact that Eichel stood his ground against the Buffalo Sabres, got what he needed, and he is thriving now. Like that should be a message to NHL ownership. Like the players know about their bodies. Issues with medical treatment in NHL players are always long and complex, but this, letting a player get the surgery that they want it's their body. That should be something that shouldn't be controversial. And seeing Jack Eichel just kind of play well, like I said, I love to see it. The Golden Knights are this team that I really want to hate, but I just can't because there's so many feel good stories kind of end up there. It's just the magic of Vegas. Let's be real. Um, Real quick though, I do want to thank everyone for making Locked On Coyotes your first listen today. For your second listen, I recommend checking out Locked On Sports Today. From games that matter to the biggest stories in sports. Go beyond the scoreboard and head behind the scenes with local experts and insights only Locked On can provide. Locked On Sports Today, available on this app, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. Now comes the final segment of our show where we normally talk about the odds. Unfortunately, I'm recording this the night before. Our friends at BetOnline do not currently have the odds available, but I do just kind of want to, talk about where I think the game is going to be, and that should be able to influence your odds. Because let's be real, the Coyotes are not going to be favorites to win this one. They're going to be 1.5 underdogs. Figure 6.5. That's usually the goals. The Coyotes have been very consistent, as most bottom feeders are. So the betting segment is always just kind of an excuse for us to talk about a score prediction. And I don't have someone to bounce a score off. So this may be wildly ridiculous. Let's see. Like I said, I'm worried about this game. I think that Vegas is going to have a lot to prove. They're going to come in with a reason to play hard. The Coyotes also have that. I think the fact that Chikrin and Schmaltz coming back the next game is going to influence a lot of players to push. I think that is going to motivate them to kind of counter the Golden Knights. Because something that Robin and I talked about earlier this week is the fact that Schmaltz and Chikrin both returning on the same day is going to influence roster moves. Players are going to get waived. Players are going to get sent down to Tucson. They may get claimed, but it's a big risk. And so a lot of people are going to be skating for their jobs because let's be real, like if you get sent down, there is a chance you're not going to come up. Hopefully you will, like in the fact that I don't think as anyone has looked especially terrible. Like there's been rough games by everyone, but not really. I don't know. I think it's motivation, and I think it's going to push the Coyotes to success. I see this one being an under. Uh, I'm going to go 3-2 Coyotes. Sorry, I had to take a drink. 3-2 Coyotes. This seems like one where, Golden Knights, they're going to be coming in with momentum. Coyotes players should have individual momentum. Hopefully they can, cancel each other out enough for the Coyotes to get a couple of late goals. I've been liking how they're starting. They just kind of need to finish strong. I think that they can do this. Don't know too much. Like I said, I'm recording this the night before, but we should hopefully be getting some more information throughout the day. Um, Expect Clayton Keller to have a really good game. He's always really good. Gunther's been a bit quiet. I would like to see him have a good game tonight as well. But yeah, it's gonna be a good one. This one is gonna be a little bit later, 8 p.m. game. So I don't know about you. I kind of like the early starts when they're on the East Coast, but I guess if you're coming home from work, I work from home. Don't want to rub that in too much. Anyways, I'm just kind of rambling at this point. Sorry. Solo episodes always end up a little bit rambling, but I did really want to talk about this game. I do have a lot of thoughts about it. Like I said, I wrote a preview on 5 for Howling. So definitely feel free to check that out. I write previews and recaps for every game there. Try and get stories as they come up. It's been tough lately, but trying to do as much as I can. But yeah, this should be a fun one. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you enjoy the game tonight. And as always, I hope everyone's staying safe out there. Hope you're having a great time, and don't forget to howl on.